so I'm gonna do some sound test. Yeah, I think it works now.
Okay.
All right, so we are live with my cat grooming himself. So, all right, so welcome everyone, stream number 4. Today we are going to be with Ricardo. I have to add him to the... I have to add... wait 1 second, Ricardo, I have to add you. There we go. All right, so today we're going to be with Ricardo. We're going to be showing you how new languages are added to Tatoeba. So we're going to start maybe with sharing my screen. So, okay, so maybe for the context, recently there has been somebody who made a request to add a language, and so I thought it would be a good idea to just show how the whole process of adding a language happens on Tatoeba. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to explain all the steps, like very briefly, all the steps about requesting a language in Tatoeba. And then Ricardo. So Ricardo is actually the one who has been taking care for the past, I don't know how long anymore, but for a long time now, he has been the one taking care of making the pull request to add the languages to Tatoeba. And so I thought it would be a good occasion to show at the same time, to explain how languages are added to Tatoeba, and at the same time show how to make a pull request, because whenever Ricardo handles a new language, he's actually making a pull request, so he's opening a pull request. So we're going to show that today. So let's start with my screen. Right. Okay, so to add a new language, so there are several places where you can figure out the steps on how to request a new language. The first point is from when you try to add a new language. You have this little text. If your language is missing, it links to you to an article in our wiki. And basically this article explains the step on how to request a language. So very briefly, you basically just contact the language team, and in your message you send, well, you let us know what is the language you want to add, but we cannot add like any sort of, like, you know, if you just invented the language yesterday, this is not something as of today, at least, this is not something that we would add into Tatoeba, because then we might end up adding like millions of languages. Or I mean, maybe not millions, but there might be some languages that are, you know, just not very mature or that haven't been established as actual language, and the whole concept of categorizing languages in itself is quite complicated. So we're following a standard, this ISO 639-3. And so when you request a language, we will ask you at the same time to check if your language is part of the list. Although if you don't really know how to check that, you can still just contact us and tell us, okay, I'd like to add this language, and we would check on our side. So yeah, sending us a message to say what is the language you want to add, and send us an image that we can use for the language icon, because in Tatoeba all the languages have a specific icon associated to them. And so we need something for that. And the last thing is you would have to create a list in Tatoeba where you add a few sentences in your language. So although it's not added yet to Tatoeba, you can actually still create sentences in a language that is not supported yet, and because we have a special value for languages that are, let's say, not yet supported or unknown. But yeah, I'll be showing that as we go through the language request that we received recently. All right, so yeah, the first point to get to this guide is from the profile. And the second point is just to go directly to our wiki, so wiki.tatoeba.org. From the home page, there will be a link on how to request a new language. Right, so yeah, recently we received a language request, and so what happens after we receive the request and everything is all right, we will create a ticket in our GitHub repository. So the language that has been requested recently is called Hichiti. So I'm not sure if that's pronounced, if this is how you should pronounce it, but this is the language. And yeah, so with a bunch of information here. And now I think we've done the brief introduction. So we're going to switch to your screen, Ricardo, and you're going to show us the steps to add a language. So give me a second to switch to your screen.
Okay.
Okay, we're on your screen now.
All right. Hello, everyone. So today the main idea is to make a pull request to have Tatoeba supporting this language Hittite. I'm strange. I don't know what is the correct pronunciation of this language. But there are some things we should do what we should do before. First, I can't directly add a language to Tatoeba. I have to submit a pull request, and for that I fork it. I'm gonna show you. I have a fork of the Tatoeba repository, which is here. It's here, and I downloaded this fork. Right? Nope, not here. Tatoeba Live here, Tatoeba 2. So it's the fork of this repository, and from here I will be able to do stuff. Okay, but I will have to create a branch before, so otherwise it would be like thousands of requests handled at the same time, and being asked to be supported on Tatoeba at the same time. So to avoid confusions, I take the number of the ticket. In this case, it's 2881.
Yeah, you just reminded me, Ricardo, maybe there's one step I forgot to show people is how to create a pull request. Maybe we can switch back just quickly to my screen so I can give an overview of the steps of creating a pull request, and then we get back to your screen. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, 1 second. So, right, I had actually so yeah, in our GitHub repository we have a wiki, and in the wiki we have this guideline about submitting pull requests. So the steps that Ricardo is going to go through is actually the step that are summarized here. So the thing is, if you want to contribute anything to Tatoeba, since it's using this tool called Git, you'll kind of need to learn how Git works, and since it's hosted on GitHub, there is this mechanism called pull request, which you will also need to be a bit familiar with. So today, and I guess in general, you might find better sources about understanding all of this that will explain it better than maybe we can. We've provided on this article here, we've provided some links. I think your dogs are.
Yeah, my dogs. Yeah. Now they want to be on the stage.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's my cat here. Yeah, it's a cat and dog stream when we are together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so yeah, in the article we provided a couple of, a few links where you could learn about pull requests. So that might be a little bit of a learning curve for people who don't know anything about this tool. But yeah, in itself, the basics are not too complicated, but once you pass that, you will understand the steps here. And so the steps here is basically first step to create a branch. So yeah, a branch, you could consider it as if like the source code at this point is in a certain universe, and then when you create a branch, you create kind of a parallel universe where you can experiment things and modify things, and then when things are right, you can say, okay, this universe, I want to apply it in the main universe. So this, you create your branch, so you modify the things you want to modify, and then there's a few commands to basically save your modifications and then send it to your repository online, and then from online you will be able, from the interface of GitHub, you will be able to find a button somewhere to create a new pull request, and and then submit it. So this is the steps that Ricardo will be going through. So back to you, Ricardo.
Okay. And so from my fork here on GitHub, I will create a new branch, and you'll call it issue dash and the number of the ticket. And so now it's saved on my fork online. And as Nergy said before, we should do this, of course, offline too. So I go here on my fork on my computer, git bash, and I type git fetch.
Okay, so actually the way you're doing it, Ricardo, is, I mean, it works, of course. It's just that there's one comment in our guidelines that will be a bit different. But yeah, it's just when you do a git push, it will not, if you go to the article, if you do a git push, you won't have these extra parameters. But yeah, it's a detail. It's a detail at this point.
So now I'm going to check out, and there the new branch I created, the new branch I created. So issue 2881, and there we are. So here you can see that I'm working on this branch and not on dev anymore. So not on the main repository actually the main repository of my fork. So I created a new branch for there, and now we can do anything you want and test, and after that, if everything is okay, submit the pull request. Okay, so as for now, we need to add the new language name here. So I go to Tatoeba 2. Not yet. Not to the flag yet, but here.
So maybe you can show because we have also an article on the wiki that shows these steps, right? That what you're about to do.
Oh, sure.
We also have this article, so
sure.
So we can go to that one.
Oh, sorry for the ambulance here. So yeah, so too many noise here. So now, open the file src lib language lib.php. So, oh no, not this. I have to close this as well. So src lib, and that was our target. So we open it with Notepad, and here we are going to see the list of all languages that are supported on Tatoeba. And now we're going to create a new one, but if you notice, there are arrows, so I have to erase it then, and click on space.
Yeah,
And then we
that's also a very very minor detail. I mean, we're not that
yeah, yeah.
strict about
So
using space or tabs.
yes. So okay, let me check as MI key. So I copy the name of the language here. MI key and I type here is language language uh, and the name of the language. So now Control V, okay, parentheses, comma, and save it. Okay. Now I have to save this to the branch I created. So I can close here. I can close here and go to the folder, not this folder. Let me close it before it causes more trouble. Okay, so go here and I actually rename it, but actually not rename it, but I click on rename and I copy the name of the file. Go to lib, and from here I go to git bash, and I type git add. In this case here, I hold shift and I press it insert and point php, which is the name of the file.
Okay, before you go,
Okay.
just before you go further, because I'm actually realizing that if you go back to the issue in GitHub,
Okay.
so I just noticed that the title of the issue is Hichiti, but then the link to the Wikipedia page is Makasuki language. So I'm just wondering about the name right now of this language. What should it be?
Yeah, it was agreed on the language team that it would be the name of the language, Hittite.
Okay, let me check a little bit.
Okay.
So, okay, maybe one other place that we can show, and maybe that's something we should add in the ticket itself, is because we use the ISO standard. You can actually go to the page itself, to the sil.org. So if you go first to the Wikipedia page and you click, language codes, if you click on the MIK, it will actually open the link to the ISO specification, where we see that the name is actually Mikasuki. So from here, I'm just wondering if actually we should rather name this Mikasuki.
The requester asked it to add as Hittite, but and the language he agreed. But yeah.
All right. Let me read again quickly what he asked for. Okay. Yeah. Maybe then we should mention these reasons. So okay, it's about. Okay, so, I mean, if I quote what the requester said is that the ISO code is for both Hichiti and Mikasuki, but tribal politics allow for the Oklahoman Hittite language to be written down, but the Floridian Mikasuki dialect may not be written. For Florida, Indian tradition forbids it. For this reason, I asked that, because MIK is for both these languages, but Mikasuki, Floridian Mikasuki is forbidden to be written. And okay, since we are using writing, it wouldn't. Okay.
That's definitely, yeah,
Okay, I guess
that's a new one.
it kind of makes sense. Okay, I'll just
I
have
can,
to copy paste this because we need we need
yeah.
to keep track of these things. So I'll just add it as a comment. As of why we are using the name Hichiti and not Mikasuki.
Mikasuke, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, in the worst case, so it can happen that we will create a language request, and after some point we realize that the name we used is not the correct name, and so we can always obviously change that name later on. Okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Ricardo,
no
but
problem. Yeah, that's actually this is a tricky case which there is a language. Actually, the one ISO 603 dash 3 directs to two languages, but one of them is forbidden to be written, and yeah, so something. Yeah, a lot of one of things that you can have to deal with. So it's okay. Okay, should I proceed?
yeah, you can proceed. Yes.
Okay,
So yeah,
so
you stumbled upon an issue.
yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Each add minus f, the name of the file, php, and
No.
that's it.
Okay. Why
And
do you have?
it will.
Wait, it's a bit okay. I'm a bit confused why you have because the error says that you are ignoring the src/lib. Can you do a git status just for a second?
Okay, sure.
Like, have you changed your ignore file? No, you haven't. Okay. All right, so you maybe added somewhere else in some global ignore. Okay. I mean, we can continue. It's not in itself as long as you can
All right.
stage it. It's fine.
Okay. So now I have the. I'm going to come back here to the wiki. Now we have to add the icon, but it has to be in SVG. And most of the files we receive in PNG or JPEG and so on. So, and they are not compressed. So, I already compress it. I'm sorry for about this. I already compress it, but it's really simple. I'm gonna do it again just to make sure it really works. So I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this website here. Upload files, and this is the name of the file. This is the image I want to compress. Yeah, it says 0% because I already compressed it. Okay. Now I have to convert it into SVG, which is a kind of the image in another language. Let's say it's a programmed language. I think it can explain better. So let me go here again. I go to this website now. Is GIF, and I'm going to choose the same file. MI key. Okay. Upload. Click on upload. So it's okay. The size is good. 476 bytes. Convert to data URI. Okay. All I want, I already have a template. Let me show you. Which from there, I add the data URI it created. So I click here, and after, oops, no, and after here, after base 64, I copy and paste all this until the semicolon here. So I'll copy, go here and paste, file, save as, so it's a new file, in the same name, but I add svg, mik.svg, save. It will be on the hard, it will be here. So now I open this file to make sure it should match with the original file. Let's see, fingers crossed. And yes, oops, no, go away Microsoft, don't need you now. And yes, and it matches with the original file. Okay, so we can add it to Tatoeba. So I go here, Tatoeba 2. Let's read the wiki. So download the favorite template. Okay, open the template text editor. In the template, replace the TRU. Okay, yes, I already did this. So I go here in webroot, img flags, and I copy the paste and paste the file here. So it's here at the bottom. Let me make it bigger to show you. I think it's here, right here below. Okay, and I'm going to do the same step that I did before to tell, let's say, to tell Tatoeba what language I'm adding. So in this case here in flags, I right click, choose git bash, and I'm going to say git add mik.svg, and okay, it's accepted. And now I have to commit. I have to tell what I have changed all the code. So git commit. Let me see my notes. Is the git commit? Oh, -m, right? Yeah, -m. Yeah. Added language. And I forgot the name. I don't want to misspell it, so I'm gonna.
It's always better to copy paste.
Yeah. avoid problems. So add a language Hititi, I don't know. So okay, and git push. 2 files changed. Yeah, it's important that we just changed 2 files. This is important thing, and we did 3 insertions. All right, so this language is not right from left, not anything else, so it's okay. 2 files changed, 3 insertions, so it's okay. Git push, and voila.
Okay, so maybe before you proceed, I'll just show again, so that we just I'll just show again the steps that we had in our guidelines to show that this is what you did basically for the pull requests. So I'll switch back to my screen. Oops. Yeah. Okay. All right, so yeah, creating the branch, this actually you did it not with the command line, you did it directly from the UI. And so if you don't do it from the command line, like the following steps are a bit different, but it's not that that different. So then you modified the code, and then you the git add and then file that you did was like staging your modifications. So you did it in 2 steps. So you modified first the language file, and then you did a git add, add, and then you added the new file, the svj file, and then you did git add for that file. Technically, you can also just modify the language lib file and then add your file, and then that would be a command to also git add both at the same time. But yeah, so you did the git add, and then you did the git commit with like the description of what you are committing, and then in your case you did a simple git push. You didn't do the rest of this command here because you created the branch first in your fork. But if you had not created your branch from the fork and you created it from locally first, then you would have had to do git push with this extra parameter. Okay, and so now the step number 6 that you're gonna show us is to go to the list of your branches and then create the pull request. So back to you.
So okay, and now GitHub is telling me that my main branch had recent pushes, and before making the pull request, I will test it locally. So then the goal here is to be able to add,
but before you have to go to the step 3 of the adding.
Just to say that what is the goal?
Okay.
As for now, it's not listed, so yes, let's make sure that it should be listed on.
It's not. I think it's not listed because you need to refresh the page because you had it open before. It should be listed if you refresh. But the place where it's not listed, if you don't do the step 3 of the wiki, is that it won't be listed in the full list of languages. So if you would go to the home page, you could go to the home page and click on all languages, to see the stats about all the languages. In here, it will not be listed yet because you haven't added it to the database yet.
Okay, here. Changed. It was 409 and now it's 410. And let's see. No, it's not listed. Okay. So I have to run some new comments. Let me close this. I can close this as well. And yes, this was one earlier. So background SSH.
Right, so this connects you to the VM of Tatoeba. It's a bit slow to get in there.
Okay, CD Tatoeba.
I think you don't need to.
Don't need to? Just call. I can run the comments.
Yeah, you can check. You can check the wiki and just follow
the command. Yeah. So okay, let's see. Run MySQL. Okay.
Okay, it doesn't actually. Okay, here it doesn't tell you what to do at this step. So I know what to do. So you have to type MySQL Tatoeba. So MySQL space Tatoeba without the capital letter.
Okay.
So because the database that we have is called Tatoeba, and MySQL is the command to connect to that database.
Okay.
Now you are connected to the database, so you see there's a little different prompt.
And I copied and pasted the command, which is called add -new -language. Underline new underline language. Parentheses. The language code is main key, comma, and then have to check what's the list.
Here, because you are locally, you don't have the list. Then you would put you can put a 0.
Okay, use column and execute. Where you okay? And you affect. Alright, so let's see if in my I can learn if it is if it was updated successfully. So okay, Control F. Oops. He. Oh, there we are. So language now is here. Let's see if I can create sentence in this language. So I have to add this language here. So next, I'll just play as specified. Just for test purpose. Contribute, add sentence. I choose our new language, HTTP. Hi. Let's see. Okay. Something. And so on. So the language basically is working. Um, and if I go to the Tatoeba's main page, well, I mean locally in my computer, so it shows correctly the sentence and the correct flag. Now, so I can make the pull request to have it added on Tatoeba properly. Now it's only added on my machine. So I go here.
Yeah, so before you click,
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, because this banner there will show up if you have done recently a new branch. But let's say you push your branch and you come back tomorrow. I just maybe to show where you could go to do the pull request if it doesn't show up there. You have to click on branches. So below this, yeah, not this one, but next to it, there's written 7 branches, and you can click on it. And from here, you also have the button to create next to each of your branches. At the end, towards the right side, you have this button, new pull request. So you could also start a pull request from this button there.
Okay. So new pull request. The title was my commit. What I wrote in the commit, and I'm going to say something simple. This PR this PR soaps. The ticket was 2881. Yes. So when I do this, I'm telling, if you merge this pull request, it will automatically close this ticket here. All right. I'm gonna say this. It adds he t. That's okay. On Tatoeba.
Yeah, I mean, in itself, if you link the ticket already, you don't need to say much more because the ticket will have all the information. Before you create, maybe I switch back to my side very quickly to show that at the moment in the list of pull requests, your request is not there yet. So give me a second to switch.
All right.
All right, so here we're on my screen now. And yeah, as you can see, there is nothing about MIK, nothing about HTTP. Yeah, so the request is not there yet. So go ahead and we can create it.
Okay, so I'm going to click on create pull request and wait. And there you go. So it's now the pull request. The number of the ticket is 2883. And let me just check here if I did not mess up everything here. Okay, after Santali. All right. MIT. Okay, and here the new code. The code of the image. Yes, so everything seems to be okay. File sending to. It's going to be so same thing. Okay, so at least here on my side, I think everything is all right.
Right, and so maybe if you scroll down a little bit, another thing to notice is like as soon as you create the pull request, it's going to start like some automatic check. So it's going to run a bunch of tests through the whole code, and so you can see that right now it's like it says some checks haven't been compiled yet. I don't know exactly how long it takes, but like if you would come back later in, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe even before, this might change, the color of this might change either from green, so green would be everything's good, or to red, and if it becomes red, it means that there are some errors and you would be able to see what are the errors. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that after you've made a pull request, you might want to come back a little bit later to check if the checks have been compiled properly or if there has been some errors detected. And now, so from your screen, can you maybe go to the full list of pull requests so that we can
Sure.
see?
Okay, here.
Yeah, and so
Let
now
me go there.
now we can see that your language has been added here. All right, so that was pretty much. Let's go back to webcams. Give me a second. Up. Okay. Okay, so we are not showing more code for today. That was basically the process of adding a new language to Tatoeba. And so, as you can see, the process in itself is probably not the most optimal, but we just wanted to show how it's done today. There's obviously a lot of things that can be improved, and I mean, my personal wish is that one day this whole thing can actually be done directly from the UI of Tatoeba, like that we don't have to go through this whole pull request, which is in itself very technical and very complicated. But now that we've shown the process, I wanted to also to say that in our article that details the steps to request a language, technically you don't have to follow it to the letter. Technically, if you knew, if you had a GitHub account and you know how to make pull request, you could directly, without even contacting us through emails first, you could technically directly do what Ricardo just did, which is to just submit a pull request with the language, although you would still need to add all the information that we need to know to evaluate if we should, like, if we can accept it or not. So mostly to explain, I think the main information we need to keep track of is to explain why what is the image that was chosen for the language icon. So yeah, technically you could directly make a pull request. You wouldn't have to like send us an email and then wait for Ricardo to do this pull request. But it's still, I think most people who request languages, they are not that technical, so that's why we have these extra steps. So yeah, not the most optimal, but this is how we do things at the moment. And yeah, I hope this was informative. So today's stream is a little bit shorter than usual. Yeah, we just wanted to show how a language gets added to Tatoeba, and at the same time show how to do a pull request. So doing a pull request in itself is not that complicated. You need if I would summarize, you need, well, first, yeah, you need to make a fork of Tatoeba, because you will not be able to like submit directly, like to create branches directly in the repository of Tatoeba. So you need to make kind of a duplicate of the Tatoeba repository, and from there you're creating a branch. And then once you have your branch and you've pushed the changes to your branch, from the UI, it's just a click of a button, adding some information, a title, a description, and then and then the pull request is created. And then, so from there, the next step would be that somebody who has write access, who is maintaining the official Tatoeba repository, will have to check the pull request, and then that I can show actually. That I can show before continue. So on my side, as I'm, okay, maybe not from this screen because I'm not logged in, but from this screen here. So on my side, I'm one of the people who are maintaining the repository. So if I go to the pull request, I will actually see this. Okay, at the same time we see that all checks have passed, so everything's all right. And I have a button here basically where I can just click and then it will am I? Okay, I'm not sharing my screen, sorry. I mean, I'm sharing my screen, but I'm not showing it. Back again. Okay, my screen here. So I'm on the pull request. We see that all checks have passed. And there is a button over here that I can click to be able to merge the branch into the main branch of Tatoeba, where things are validated. Basically, once the code is valid, we merge it into that branch that we call dev. And so once it's merged, it's still not. It doesn't mean that it's going to be on Tatoeba yet. It's still going to have to be deployed to Tatoeba. And so deploying to Tatoeba, we actually have some steps about that. This is nothing that anyone can do. You would need to have access to the server to be able to go through these steps. But yeah, this basically describes how we would deploy Tatoeba. So after we have gone through these steps, then the language would be effectively available on Tatoeba. Right. So okay. So yeah, so that was more or less the whole flow of how languages get added. Now, since we have a little bit time left, since it's a shorter stream than usual, just wanted to have a few words about the stream that we tried to do 2 weeks ago with you, Ricardo, but unfortunately it failed. It didn't get online because YouTube interface is a bit confusing for the new people who start streaming. Wait, actually there's a question. Why not add all ISO languages without flags and add flags later? So yeah, that's a possibility that we have thought of, but the thing is, when we go through the process of adding a new language, when we go step by steps, it allows us as well to detect if there's any problem in our process, things that we need to review. So in itself, it might be more practical, like if you're completely new to Tatoeba and then you're kind of sure to find your language in there. At least every language that we support, you might be sure to find it. But then it's also a very long list, and so the UI itself needs to be readjusted, and it might also be a bit discouraging to see if you go to the list of language, you have like 4,000. I don't know how many languages there are in the list.
409, and this is the 410th language.
Yeah, no, but I mean the full ISO list. Like there are thousands of languages, and so it might be a little bit, I don't know, depressing. I know depressing is the word, but it's not too nice to see such a long list, and then plenty of them are just at 0. I don't know, but yeah. it's a possibility. We could think about it, but I think we're still thinking. I mean, we're still not like we're still in an a constant experiment about like adding new language, like what kind of things we need to think about when we add a new language. That it's not so bad to add them progressively as people request for them. So yeah, but obviously if we notice that like the rates of people trying to create sentences in unsupported language, if like out of nowhere there's like a bunch of languages all over the place that people want to create, I mean that they want Tatoeba to support, in terms of workload, yeah, it might make sense that we start adding everything. But since we're not in a rush, let's say, like the mindset at Tatoeba usually is we are quite slow paced. We don't rush things too much, and so going step by step, having like a first contact with somebody who's a native speaker or who knows the language very well and has contact with native speakers, to have this interaction with people, I think it's useful as well. Because if we would just make all the languages available, probably this interaction we wouldn't have anymore with our contributors. We wouldn't. It's just like if people find the language, they will add it, and maybe there will be some knowledge that we would lose along the way. Like we would lose this possibility to discuss with the native speakers or with the speakers who are fluent in the language and knowledgeable in the language. Right. So, okay. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So yeah, the stream today is a bit shorter, and yeah, I wanted to maybe take a bit of time to discuss a bit of an unrelated topic, but it was, I mean, still unrelated because it was with you, Ricardo, that 2 weeks ago we tried to stream, but unfortunately it didn't go online. So we were just speaking for like 1 hour and a half, just the two of us, thinking that we were streaming, but in the end we weren't streaming. And so yeah, for that topic, it was a topic where so today we did something that is part, let's say, of your job. So it's not your official job, but it's like part of the responsibilities that you have in Tatoeba. But the point of the stream, at least for me, is also to bring people and to see what we can do to help them achieve things that they personally want to see in Tatoeba, like provided that they don't have like crazy wishes, of course. And so on your side 2 weeks ago, we discussed about one feature that you would have liked to see in Tatoeba because it would be useful for you as a teacher, and unfortunately we didn't get to capture it on stream because didn't push a button. But yeah, so I hope you will have time to come back in another stream. I mean, these streams are going to continue for a while. So hopefully you get to come back in another stream, and in that other stream we will be focusing, I guess, more on more intense development task, let's say, and also I guess we will get to talk about like before we add a feature to Tatoeba, like what kind of how do I say this? How do we make sure that we just don't add plenty of random features, and we try as much as possible to add features that make sense? So what is the whole discussions that we could go through whenever there's a new feature that someone wants to add to Tatoeba? This kind of stuff. And so maybe just a few words about your feature request, and that was about being able to download lists as PDF.
Yes.
And so the goal is for you to be able to implement this feature yourself, even though it might take, so to be realist, since maybe something we should have mentioned is that you are not the developer, so you do not have any training at all in development, and like everything that you did today is because like we over the time we managed to write a guide that was step by step and that was easy for you to follow. But so for you to implement an actual feature in Tatoeba, if we want to be realistic, it might take, so depending of course how much free time you have to learn things on your on the side, it might take like 6 months maybe for you to be able to do these things, but that's okay. We would do that step by step, and yeah, so hopefully we see you again in the next stream where we can get back to the discussion that we started to have 2 weeks ago, and to get
It would be great.
to get to see what we can do to help you with your feature, and also in general to just, if you had anything else you wish to see in Tatoeba, that you don't just have to just sit back and just wait and hope that somebody will do it for you, but that you have the power to do it yourself, that you have the knowledge and the power to do it yourself. All right, so I think we're good for today. Anything else to say on your side, Ricardo?
No, just would like to thank you for watching, and hope to see you all again. And this is it. So we are able to help Tatoeba. I hope you enjoy the project and the development team. It's really great. And thanks for watching.
Okay, so thank you. And yeah, next week probably there's going to be another stream. Not sure what the topic will be, but see you next week. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.